At some point, you feel it, not clearly, not loudly, but quietly. Something feels off. Your life looks fine. Nothing is completely wrong. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're staying busy. You're moving forward. But inside, it doesn't feel right. You wake up and something feels heavy. You go through your day, but without energy, without excitement, without meaning, and you can't fully explain why. Because from the outside, everything looks normal, stable, acceptable, even good. But deep down, you feel disconnected, like you're not where you should be, like you're not living the life you actually want. And that feeling doesn't go away. It follows you in quiet moments, in stillness, when you're alone and you start asking yourself, how did I get here? When did things start feeling like this? Why does everything feel fine, but not fulfilling? And that's the hardest part, because nothing is clearly broken, but something is missing. And most people ignore that feeling. They distract themselves, they stay busy, they tell themselves it's just a phase. But it's not. It's a signal, a quiet sign that something needs to change. So, in this video, we're going to talk about 9 signs, the ones that show you're not living the life you truly want, even if everything looks normal. Most people don't realize they're living the wrong life because nothing feels obviously wrong. There's no clear failure, no big collapse, no moment that forces them to stop. Everything looks fine, normal, acceptable. And that's exactly why they stay there. Because when something is good enough, you don't question it. You don't challenge it. You don't try to change it. You just continue day after day, following the same routine, making the same choices, repeating the same patterns. And over time, that becomes your life. Not because you chose it consciously, but because you never stop to ask, is this what I actually want? That's how people drift. Not in one big decision, but in small ones. Decisions they don't even notice. Things like choosing comfort over growth, choosing safety over risk, choosing what's expected instead of what feels right. And slowly, that creates a gap between the life you live and the life you want. At first, that gap is small, almost invisible. But over time, it grows until you start to feel it. That quiet discomfort, that sense of something missing, that's when awareness begins. So in the next part, we're going to break down these signs, the ones that show you're not aligned with your own life. Even if everything looks fine on the outside, number 1, you feel unmotivated most of the time, not because you're lazy, but because what you're doing doesn't excite you, doesn't challenge you, doesn't feel meaningful, so you force yourself to continue without energy, without interest, and over time, that drains you. Number 2, you're always waiting for something. The weekend, a break, a vacation, a future moment where things will feel better, because your present doesn't feel enough. And when you're always waiting, you're not really living. You're just passing time. Number 3, you feel disconnected from what you do, your work, your routine, your daily life. It feels like something you have to do, not something you want to do. So you go through it without presence, without engagement, just to get it over with. And that disconnection is a clear sign. Something is not aligned. Number 4, you feel stuck even though you're busy. You're doing things, completing tasks, following your routine, but nothing really changes. No real progress, no real growth. And that's frustrating because effort without direction feels empty. Number 5, you avoid thinking about your life. You stay distracted, busy, occupied. Because when you stop, you start questioning things, your choices, your direction, your purpose. And that feels uncomfortable, so you avoid it. But avoidance doesn't solve anything. It just delays clarity. Number 6, you care too much about what others expect. You follow what's safe, what's accepted, what others think is right, instead of what feels right to you. So your life becomes a reflection of expectations, not your own choices. And over time, you lose connection with yourself. Number 7, you feel like something is missing. You can't explain it clearly. There's no specific problem, no obvious issue. But deep down, you feel incomplete, like your life is not fully yours, like you're not living at your full potential. And that feeling doesn't go away. Number 8, you don't feel excited about your future. You think about what's coming next, and it feels the same, predictable, repetitive, nothing new, nothing inspiring. And instead of looking forward, you feel neutral or even tired. And that's a sign you're not moving towards something meaningful. Number 9, you ignore your inner voice, you feel it. That quiet voice inside telling you something is wrong, telling you something needs to change. But you don't listen. You push it away. You distract yourself because it's uncomfortable, because it requires action, but ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. It just makes it louder over time. These signs are not loud. They don't force you to change. They don't create urgency. They are quiet, subtle, easy to ignore, but repeated every day. They shape how you feel about your life, and if you keep ignoring them, they don't go away. They become your reality, a life that looks fine, but doesn't feel right. And here's the truth. If something feels off, it usually is. Not because your life is broken, but because it's not aligned, not with what you want, not with who you are, not with what matters to you. And the longer you ignore that feeling, the stronger it becomes. Because awareness doesn't disappear. It grows, it pushes. It reminds you, again and again, that something needs to change. But most people don't listen. They stay where it's comfortable, where it's familiar, where it feels safe, even if it doesn't feel right. And over time, that becomes their life. Not chosen, but accepted. And that's the real problem. Not that they couldn't change, but that they didn't. Because they ignored the signs, they delayed the decision, they avoided the discomfort. But you don't have to do that. Because the moment you become aware, you have a choice. You can keep going the same way, or you can change direction. Not all at once. Not perfectly, but intentionally, because your life is not fixed. It's flexible. It responds to your decisions, your actions, your courage to change. So if you recognize these signs, don't ignore them. Don't push them away. Listen to them, because they are pointing you somewhere, toward something better, toward something more aligned. And the sooner you act on them, the sooner your life starts to feel like yours again. One decision at a time.